हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू डिकोडिंग एडिटोरियल्स। सो द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर में जो भी एडिटोरियल्स है उनको सिंप्लीफाई करके आपके लिए लेकर आ रहे हैं एट दिस प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ प्लूटस आईएएस, जहां पर आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड, जस्ट टू वॉच दिस 10 to 15 मिनट्स ऑफ वीडियोस और आपको एडिटोरियल पूरी तरीके से क्लियर हो जाएगा। यू डोंट नीड टू रीड दैट आर्टिकल्स। ओके, सो डिकोडिंग आर्टिकल्स में आज जो हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं दैट द आर्टिकल आप न्यूज़पेपर द हिंदू में देखेंगे। सो एज इट इज आपको हेडिंग दिखेगा द नेबरहुड डिप्लोमेसी एंड इट्स वेस्ट एशिया चैलेंज। नाउ व्हाट इज दिस, क्या है इसमें, इस आर्टिकल्स में क्या क्या मेन पॉइंट्स हैं जो इंक्लूड किए गए हैं। सो एज यू नो कि एट द एंड ऑफ द फरवरी Iran was struck by Israel backed by US, which killed its supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei. So a war broke out in February, late February, following US-Israel strikes that killed Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Now this has challenged Iran's supremacy in that region, the Middle East region, the West Asian region, जहां पे ईरान की सुप्रीमेसी थी उसको चैलेंज किया है यूएस ने एंड इजराइल ने। ठीक है, नाउ द यूएस, उसके बाद the main point is in this article is the US recently sank the Iranian warship Iris Dana की एक warship which was coming to India, which was going from India. It has arrived in India for a basically military exercise, and it was unarmed, ये unarmed थी, and it was returning way back to Iran, and it was shot down by US submarine in this region near Sri Lanka and between India and Sri Lanka. Now that is the problem, because it is challenging the nature of Indian diplomatic relations with its neighborhood countries, where India promises to provide security to the region, to the island countries, to the small nations, and in that waters only US has attacked the Iris Dana ship, and without saving their sailors, it has shocked all the world. So that is the biggest geopolitical crisis which happened during this particular war of Iran, Israel and US. Now this is a part. Now we focus on what are the disruptions being made. What are the disruptions that are being created due to this conflict in the region? So disruption of essential supplies like LPG. As we already know that West Asia is the largest supplier. West Asia is the largest supplier of oil, crude oil, as well as the LPG. Now India is heavily dependent on West Asia for this LPG crisis, and you all know that India has not created any kind of buffer for this LPG. For oil we have created buffer, and you have must have recently heard that in the parliament also the ministers have claimed that we have a 74 days of oil reserve. Even if no oil comes, we can survive for 74 days. But it is not in the case of LPG crisis. And due to this, you are seeing the news that in many regions, especially the middle class populations, is not able to access the LPG cylinders. The restaurants are shutting down, and it is not happening only in India. It is happening in the whole South Asian countries, not only in Indian countries. So regional energy crises are deepening, leading countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives to request petrol and diesel from India, with landlocked nations like Nepal and Bhutan expected to follow suit. तो जो लैंडलॉक कंट्रीज है वो जो पूरी तरीके से इंडिया पे डिपेंडेंट है, लाइक भूटान एंड नेपाल, वी हैव गुड रिलेशंस विद भूटान एंड नेपाल, एंड देयर ऑयल सप्लाई इज हेवीली डिपेंडेंट ऑन इंडिया. नाउ इफ वी हैव टू फुलफिल फर्स्ट आवर नीड, देन हाउ वी विल सप्लाई टू देम. So that will create an economic crisis also, that will create an economic backlog also, and India will not be able to grow that faster, which is growing by supplying the petroleum products. We are one of the largest supplier of petroleum products in the neighborhood region. Now this war is challenging that, because the oil supply is limited, oil supply is disrupted, and so we are first giving priority to our citizens, because we need to fulfill our needs first. That is the problem. So once we fulfill our needs, then we can only supply it to other nations. Is it clear? Now in case if we not supply it to them, then that relation will also become vulnerable. likely from China to enter it and disrupt the relationship between India with Bhutan and Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka and these kind of countries also. Now what are the economic challenges? Now what are the economic challenges during due to this war as mentioned in this particular article? So first is there are risks to migrant workers and remittances. The migrant workers, you know, India is one of the largest supplier of migrant workers. People from here migrate to these western countries for employment. As we already know that in South Asia, the AI is taking over many jobs. Now the population of the labor class which is moving to these areas, working in the factories and sending money, which is which we also call as remittance, to our nation, and that particular thing is disrupted, then it will create a kind of economic crisis in this area also. So approximately 25 million South Asians live and work in West Asia. The constant flare-ups in the region threaten their safety and cause significant fluctuations in the remittance they send home. So इसका असर जो है वो remittance पे भी पड़ेगा. It will create an impact on the remittances also, and it will also, there's a chances of increasing the unemployment also, because now the people who will come back from the Western Asian regions, they are not likely to get job as easily as it is already we are struggling with the job problem. So that will create another kind of crisis. Now broader macroeconomic pressure. So South Asia is simultaneously dealing with the economic fallout of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, supply chain blockages from India-China border tensions and the impact of US tariff policies on the region's exports. Now there are multiple factors. The war started with Russia and Ukraine. That also hampered the supply of goods and services. Then the tariff war that is going on. However, India handled the tariff war very tactfully. Very tactfully it had handled, because you can see when the US, there's a thing when US tried to pressurize India, especially when US tried to pressurize India and put a 25% tariff initially, and later on it increased to 50%. The tariff was increased to 50% because of the Russian oil imports. Now, how India handled it, that is a very good thing. We have to know this. Now, India what did? India signed an FTA, free trade agreement, with two major blocks. One was the UK, United Kingdom, and another was the EU. And it was an historic deal. It was an historic deal because it opened market, a huge market for Indian exporters to these areas. Now, when Trump analyzed the situation that Indians are opening their market, a broader market with a lesser or approximately zero tariff in these areas, that will not hamper their economic challenges. So Trump was advised to lower down the tariff again. So that is how tactfully India has handled the situation. But the current war situation is deeply concerning for India also. Is it clear? Now, we'll talk about AI also. AI is also hampering the jobs in the South Asian region. AI is already hampering the jobs. Now, the labor class is also being fled from the Western Asian regions to the South Asian regions and returning back to our country. So there is a growing concern over artificial intelligence threatening jobs in the region, already grappling with a restless, unemployed and under-deployment of youth population. So that will create a youth unrest, because they will not get jobs. They are returning, they were doing a good job, they were earning a good money in a foreign currency, and they were sending money as a remittance to their family in India. That was also helping India also to remove its burden. But now, as they will come back, they will not get jobs, so there will be kind of unrest situation in this country, which will hamper our economy. Is it clear? Now, that was the point of view which was there in economic challenges. Now, this article also mentions the maritime security challenges that India is facing. Now, what is that maritime security challenges? So, as I have already told you, India acts as a big brother for its neighboring countries, and especially in the Indian Ocean region. India wants to control the Indian Ocean region so that we can provide security. We have promised security to the smaller island nations, that in case of any threat, we will be there. Now, as US have sunk down this Iris Dana ship, it is the biggest challenge that India's words are now not being followed by any other country. So, threats in the Strait of Hormuz. So, Iran has weaponized access to the Strait of Hormuz. This poses a severe risk to shipping and maritime personnel, particularly since Indians make up 15% of the global seafarer population, many of whom are positioned around this critical choke point. Now, look at the numbers which is given here. If we consider the total seafarers, मतलब जो लोग यात्रा करते हैं total सी में, उसकी 15% पॉपुलेशन जो है वो इंडियंस की है. Now, इस 15% में भी maximum is situated there. Currently, they are in the crisis, middle of the crisis. However, we have cracked a kind of a deal where Iran has allowed some ships to pass on through the Strait of Hormuz, but that will not solve the problem in a longer run. Is it clear? Then next is unilateral military actions. So the USS unilateral sinking of Iris Dana near Sri Lanka, reportedly without attempting to rescue surviving sailors, has shocked this region and has created a kind of insecurity among the other countries also, that India's power has also been challenged. Now, what approach is needed here? What kind of approach is needed for India? So India has to balance it. Because if under the Western pressure it didn't act, then our relations with the neighboring countries will be completely, you can be said, turned into vulnerable situation, and the China will take over it. China will enter it, and China will take advantage of this particular situation. Is it clear? So challenge to India's security role. So US strike deeply challenges India's established position as the net security provider in the region, creating friction within the Quad framework. Is it clear? So now India has to need a stronger regional coalitions. So unilateral US actions pressure India to strengthen its own maritime coalitions, IORA, Colombo Security Conclave, and other organizations. So now we have to strengthen our regional cooperations. If the regional cooperations is vulnerable and China enters there or any other country enters there, then India acting as a big brother and the net security provider for the island countries in the Indian Ocean region, that framework, that the mindset will completely be destroyed. So India needs to balance this with a strategic, as we have done with the trade thing, as explained earlier in kind of Trump's situation. So similarly, there must be a, you can say, a revamped approach towards this strategic shift, because if we do not change the policy, then our neighborhood countries will be vulnerable to make relations with other countries, and that will create a huge problem, because it will threaten our internal security as well. If China enters near our borders, it will threaten the internal security, and China has the resources, Chinese have the oils, so they will try to supply it more possibly and more easily to the other countries. So that is the situation, that is the part of the editorial which was mentioned. You don't need to read anything apart from this. These are the only facts mentioned in this current editorial. आप बस इसको पढ़ो और उसके बाद जो भी मेन पॉइंट्स है नोट डाउन करके you can give a good answer if question is asked on this particular topic. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you want this kind of videos to be made more frequently, so you have to like and subscribe and share this particular video with your friends also. Thank you so much. Have a great day.